Now, what I'd like you to do when you stand up for a second is to think about the following. You do not know the name of the person to the left or to the right. You don't even care about what their name is. In fact, you don't care if they go away with all their data. You don't care if you have their data. You don't care if you ever see them again. All you care about is one thing, that they buy something from you. If they don't buy anything from you from today, there's absolutely no interest whatsoever in knowing any of them. Please say hello to the person next to you, to the right and to the left, as if you don't care about them. Now, you know, you're all cheating, right? Because no one treats their customers like that and their suppliers like that other than Apple, which means there's a really good chance you do not treat the people you do business with that way. Now, before you sit down, one more question. Everybody should stay up who is running their business. Please stay standing. Who is running their business the way Amazon runs a business, a platform giving their customers and suppliers what they want in the moment they want it using artificial intelligence. Everybody who does that, stand up. Everybody else, sit down. Wow, one or two of you. Congratulations. So today I would suggest the following. Please take notes along the way. As Lanham said, hopefully you will learn something in the journey, and you will leave with a simple thesis, that all of you have inside of you a modern business model in which you have customers and suppliers with data at the center of it. And when you do that, you will find there is a lot more economics available for your company. So let's get started on the journey. Very simple journey. Today is simply about, what's it called? Show me the money, right? Very simply, show me the money. So let's see if we can figure this out. So there are two types of companies in today's world. One company is I make something and I sell something to my customers. I make it, I sell it to my customers. I'm ex-McKinsey & Company. I make my consulting services, as back in the 1970s, 80s, and I sell it. I don't sell Bain, I don't sell BCG, I just sell what I make and hope to God I get 2,200 billable hours of it. And that's true for every company I serve, from Barrick Gold to the Sheikh of Dubai to Neiman Marcus. I make what I sell, that's my business. About a decade ago, more, new types of companies began to emerge that are called platform companies. I don't really make anything. I don't really sell anything. I don't really distribute anything. I'm just the market maker. I take availability of what's available in the marketplace from others, but I know my customers and suppliers so well, using artificial intelligence, I act as an old-style marketplace to combine them and to act as the orchestrator or facilitator in every exchange. And what I do is I maintain the data between those exchanges so that I know something when you come back in as either the supplier or the seller or the buyer, I know something about you, okay? Very simple. That is the newest style business model, and that's the one we're going to talk a bit about today. So what's interesting is in 2001, we still lived in a single economy in which what I make and what I sell wins, right? So GE wins, and Exxon wins, and Citibank wins, and Walmart wins. 2001. In 2006, it's still the same thing. Microsoft's still sort of making stuff. We're downloading it on our computer. It happens to be called on-premise. It's an individual computer. It's my stuff. In 2011, Apple shows up. And Apple says, wait. Everybody wants their own phone with their own imagery, unless you're carrying your photographs, or I'm carrying your photographs of your family and you're carrying the photographs of my family, there's a good chance your phone doesn't look like me, the applications don't look like mine, you're carrying something different that belongs to you and not to me. By the year 2016, the game has been won. There are no more companies in the US that do this. They're all platform companies. By 2019, the world is over. The trillion-dollar companies growing at 30% a year are all platform companies. They all realize that the more they know you or know me, and the more they know about the people that serve us, the more powerful they are, the faster they can grow. Because no matter how smart I am, and no matter how powerful I am, there is no way I can serve your needs with my stuff. No matter which balance sheet I've served, no matter how big those companies are, they're not as big as the size of the ecosystems or the networks they organize. But if you think that it's only about those 5 companies, you're wrong. There are 50 publicly traded platforms. That means there's one in almost every industry that has figured out what I told you. From Zillow to MasterCard and Visa to the New York Stock Exchange to CBOE to Google, Lyft, True, Uber. They're in every industry now because they know something that we all know. It's about the customer wanting what they want, when they want it, whenever they want it. And if you don't give it to me through whoever you know, I'm not coming back to you. It's all about with them, what's in it for me. And everybody thinks that you can solve for with them with what you have are mistaken. It's also very paternalistic, and it presumes that you're so powerful that you can serve my needs through your own capabilities. But if you think that's the only problem, then you're also missing the point. The VCs out of Silicon Valley and China have created 900 platforms, and everything right here in Austin, from rig up, which means rig workers, right, working on rig platforms, to Alibaba, and everything in between. Because what they've realized is that the thesis that we're customer-centric relies on the capacity of a platform to put together a buyer and a seller in a marketplace using artificial intelligence to bring together the disparate parts and not make it incumbent upon me to organize my life. And the last reasons that you care about is that the economics of these companies are so much greater. Ford sells for every car they sell, they get 33 cents back from their investors. Let's make sure we understand this. My wife's sitting in the back. She's heard me tell the story before. I'm a brilliant businessman. I said, Ellen, I just sold a car. I'm the Ford CEO. And she says, well, how smart are you? Well, my investors just gave me 33 cents back for every car I sold. You can't call that a smart CEO. You just can't. When you sell something for a customer, an investor gives you less than what you sell it for, that's not good business. And the same thing for Accenture, United Health Group. They give you 2 times your money back. Finance, they give you 3 times your money back. But when you get to the technology world, you get 6 to 8 times your money back. That means for every dollar you sell of a SaaS solution, investors pay you 6 or 8 times your dollars. And if you're a platform plus SaaS, you can get 10 times your money. I don't mean money back. That means your investors give you 10 times for every dollar you sell from a customer. Investors give you 10 times, which means with that amount of capital, you can hire the very best people. You can get the very best customers. You can spend the most amount of money on data. And you can build the very best business. But when you're only getting 33 cents back, you can't build anything. And they generate outsized returns on every dimension. Cost of goods sold is better. Margin economics are better. Price point is better. Stock performance is better. You name it. This is a game of numbers. Okay, what's the conclusion of that? We're going to go from the S&P 500 to the S&P 5. And that should make all of us nervous. Because if these 5 companies basically have spanned our lives and understand everything about us, then they will make all the industries that used to be our gatekeepers become just solutions in their platform. So what's the big, hairy, audacious goal in your business? Let's just start with some basic rules of engagement. So this is what I want you to think about when you start thinking about your own company. When you think about your company now, you're probably thinking about, do I own it? Do I own the asset? Do I own the means of production? You need to think about, can I own the means of connection? Can I coordinate the participants in such a way that it is my ability to bring everything together? Do I go from focusing on economies of scale to network effect? We go from our assets, our company's assets, to everybody's assets, the network's assets. From high marginal cost of growth to near zero marginal cost. From linear capabilities to exponential capabilities. From 1 to 3 times revenues to 4 to 8 times revenues. And when you think assets, do not think people, plant, or equipment. Think IP, data, and the network of constituents. And so I'm not as famous as Simon Sinek. Anybody know who Simon Sinek or Simon Sinek is? He wrote a very famous book called Start With Why. Now, I think he's completely wrong. Only a man would write a book called Start With Why. Only a man, because the people don't understand the why from my wife is not the same why as it is for my 2 boys. Not even is the same why for my 2 boys the same. Every single human in this room has his or her own why. None of us have the same why anymore. And so I'm going to suggest when you go back to your business, you start with who. Who do I know? Who are all the whos I serve? What are all their individual whys? How do I use artificial intelligence to solve that? Where do they want it, and when do they want it? And if I can't produce the product and service they want, then who can? So let's take some simple examples. For those of you who saw Lanham this morning, Amazon is the easiest one. They simply started with a B2C environment, right? Consumers, you and me. And they work backwards into sellers. Let me give you a really amazing number. Amazon manages 5 billion requests a day, from their suppliers, not from their customers, to change a product or service to meet a customer's needs. 5 billion. Think about how big their network management team is on the supply side alone. Imagine you were handling 5 billion requests every day from your supply side to change the product or service offerings to the demand side. So they have buyers and sellers, and they have a marketplace. They have offers. Simple triangle. Uber. How many of you take Uber? Great, most of you. Now you can imagine the old-fashioned way. I stand at the corner, if this was such a possibility, and I'm right here in Austin, and I wait for a yellow cab like I do in New York City. Hopefully the place smells decent, it's clean, I have a way to pay, I don't know when I'm getting dropped off. It's just terrible. But so what they figured out is I could change the entire industry by building a platform and connecting any rider with any driver on any type of car they want, from black cars and SUVs to other types of cars, right? And then they figured out once I have all of you, I can build a marketplace of what you want for food. Uber Eats. Shopify. Same thesis. Now what you'll notice that the number here is, I gave you the numbers on most companies. That says price to sales, 32 times revenues. This morning, Lanham talked about Salesforce at 13. That says 32. That's for every dollar that Shopify puts forward into a customer's hand, investors are paying them 32 times that. Why? They have 800,000 merchants. They have 200 million of us in our profiles. And they have an entire app exchange that allows people who are developers to develop on the Shopify platform to make our lives, the merchants' lives, easier. So this is the fun part for all of you. At Bill Group, this is how we do it. That song, this is how we do it. Right, you remember that song? This is how we do it. This is how we do it. So as Lanham said this morning, this is how we do it. There are 3 components to this activity. The first is a platform business model, or as Lanham would say, a SaaS business model, a subscription business model in which you are in relationship with another person so you know them. And the second thing is you have an understanding of how to orchestrate the network. And there's a third one, which is data. So you have a data network, data. You have a SaaS business model, so you're in a relationship. Like my relationship with my wife is more SaaS than transactional. I see her on a regular basis. Supposedly she likes me. We get together on Saturday nights. It's not like I see her once a month to talk to her about once a month. How did our boys do this month? It's recurring. It's consistent. It's engaged. So that when you think about this triangle, so you should write this triangle down for yourselves. This is the image I want you to think about when you think about your business. That you have, in some shape or form, a subscription business in every company in this space. You may not think about it, but if you think about Stitch Fix or Rent the Runway, if you can rent clothing that's in your wife's or spouse's closet, you can rent anything. As I always say, one day I'm going to rent the Lululemon, 50 Lululemons that are black in my wife's closet. I'm going to rent them. Now, she would try to tell me we need 50 Lululemon that are black. Now, I would argue they all look the same to me, but what do you know? We're going to just be in the rental business. So subscription business is a good place to start. The second place is you have a community. You may not believe you have a community, but you have a B2B and a B2C community. You couldn't be in business without a community. A community of government officials, a community of companies, a community of investors, a community of whatever. That community needs to be activated. And you have a set of people who want to talk to your community. You may not believe it, but they want to talk to your customers. I mean, at McKinsey, everyone wanted to talk to our customers. And we wouldn't let them do it. No problem. We take this much of their economics. The 5 steps of getting to a triangle like that are not that complex. We're doing the first one to you, pivot. So the first one is, as simple as it might sound, is to pinpoint your thoughts. I'm an active meditator. Thoughts drive actions. Actions drive outcomes. They all drive destiny. So if you do not understand and appreciate your thoughts, and if you believe that what's between your ears does not determine who you are and what you do, then you're factually incorrect. Everything is determined by your relationship with your thoughts. How you relate to the world, believe it or not, is not how you relate to the world. It's how you relate to the thoughts you have that relate to the world. So understanding your thoughts and pinpointing your thoughts is the beginning of any journey. The second thing is taking a comprehensive inventory of your entire network. I mean every component of it. Buyers, sellers, community members, data, you name it, interactions, sentiment. Because if you can't take an inventory of everything, then you can't tell yourselves what is possible. The third thing you have to do is validate the fact that someone wants you to play that role by talking to your customers and your partners, investors and suppliers, consumers and partners, and finding out whether or not you are of such a trusted position that they want you to play the role of the orchestrator, of the platform participant, of understanding that by holding their data, you are holding something valuable for them and in their best interest. You will run into the next step of organizational design. And there are 2 organizational designs that you can deploy. One is a carve-out, set up yourself a platform group. The other one is to say, I am a platform. I've always been a platform. I just didn't think of myself this way. I'm going to make this part of everything I do every single day. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to report it. I'm going to manage it. I'm going to live it. I'm not going to talk about anything else in my management team than this. And the way you need to do is simply, start simply. Traditional business models, I make it, I sell it. Modern business models, there's 3 sides. Advanced modern business models, there is everybody doing everything for everyone. Take a complete inventory of all the parts. Make sure you have a tech stack that allows you to participate in a meaningful way, which includes artificial intelligence and data. And you have to operate in all 3 horizons. Most companies get stuck here, but there is no way to get around it. Horizon 1 is you have to keep doing what you're doing and just do it better. It's interesting, but to be honest, it's not relevant because it will leave you just where you are today. What is relevant is Horizon 2, thinking about how you can use data and artificial intelligence to fundamentally change the nature of what you do, with whom you do it, and how you do it. And if you don't invest in your future, no matter what you think, there will be no different future than you have one today. And the last horizon is to connect all the pieces. Reengineering was a book by my friend Jim Champy and Michael Hammer, who's now deceased. And they wrote about the fact that reengineering is about inside your company improving the processes. Platforms are about changing the nature of an industry, the way Uber did or the way Shopify did. It's reengineering an entire industry and all of the value exchanges in the industry. Every single component. And if you don't measure it, you don't value it. So no matter what I say to every board, when I go into a board meeting and I hear them talk about the same economics that they had in their prior business model, they end up with the exact same business model they already have. There is no impetus for change. So if you don't measure it, it doesn't get managed. And so you need to measure the existing revenues as they exist. But you have to change to start measuring the SaaS revenues and the platform revenues and the skills and the offers against all three dimensions. My son works at SpaceX, one of my sons. And he always reminds me, Dad, the payload that goes into orbit is 3% of the total weight of the rocket. The 97% is just propulsion and fuel to exit orbit, to exit gravity. So all of you would leave today and you won't understand the amount of effort you will have to put in to exit the gravitational pull of your organizations. So I'd ask you to all stand up again, please. Now, to prove the point that this is a conference we should thank Build Group for bringing together, thank you, Lanham. Thank you for all the Build Group team. What I want to say is the following, why this is so important, is I want you to say hello again to the person to the right or left of you. But here's the new rules of engagement. You love them. They're your old lost friends and relatives. You can't believe it took Lanham to bring them all together and for them to remind, and you remind yourself that, gosh, gee, we need to do this every day of every moment of every life of our lives so that we can remind ourselves that we are a community, a Build Group community, that in which we are a network exchanging data and we adore each other. Please say hello to the people to your right and left again. Now, you may all feel the difference. You may all feel the difference in the energy. But I want to thank all of you. Hands up for all of you. Thank you very much for participating with me today. I appreciate you all, and I will leave you with one message. The only message that matters to me, this is my 550th speech. We're all of the humankind, all of us. We may not believe it, but there are two words in humankind, human and kind. And although many of us might think that is not our journey or that is not why we're here in this world, all of us are seeking the same thing, which is kindness in the pursuit of our seeking ourselves and helping others. And that's all platforms are, is trying to help someone else achieve their greatness goals. Thank you all very much. Questions from the audience? I have no idea what time it is because the time monitor didn't work. Questions from the group? Any questions? And as Lanham said, I couldn't have done that well. Any questions from any of you with regard to any businesses you have?
Maybe just a provocative thought. This implies that some platforms eat their entire sector, eat the entire industry that they work with. What does it leave behind? What's left behind for everyone else when that happens?
Great question. I'll repeat. If the platform eats an entire sector, and we're seeing that happen right now, I was the keynote speaker of Women's Wear Daily. They didn't want to hear me say this. There is no fashion sector left. Amazon's fashion sector is bigger than the entire sector now, right? It's as simple as that. That's just their fashion participation. And as much as I thought Stella McCartney was really great about things because Paul McCartney is great, she was great, there is no business there without Amazon. So I think what we have to say to ourselves is that there is always survival of the fittest. And I do think you're going to see entire industries get wiped out, right, by people who understand platform economics. The good news is I always think there's something called fragmentation and reconsolidation. New people will emerge because people will make mistakes like Facebook does that doesn't understand when I am your customer, I did not give you the rights to abuse me. And so what happens is new companies will emerge like TikTok that will do wonderfully new and different things until people remember that in today's world, I am the product. It's an important message. I am the product. My loved ones are the product. I am the thing that you care about. And if you lose that view that I am here to serve you, that platform will go away. Next question. Yep. Yep.
So I know you gave, and obviously my first rodeo was, I guess, more consumer-based, and I'm more in B2B now.
Yep.
So I know, how would you, do you have any examples specifically for B2B companies to create, I guess, community network effects, right? So you use like Amazon and Shopify and Uber,
Yep.
but someone who has like a SaaS application that they started there versus starting as a consumer app.
Yeah, so I'm going to give one because Lanham did a beautiful job. Let's just use Salesforce.
Okay.
Salesforce was a very, very simple B2B environment in which they provided Salesforce management, consumer relationship management. They go, it's really Salesforce management. And when they realized that they had a lot of customers at the other end, they could offer both a community of their users new offers, which is developer community, which they have a whole developer community that wanted to make offers, and they could also find partners that wanted to interact and provide offers to that environment. There are no shortage of more B2B that are beginning to realize that they are already in the possession of a large number of customers, but, and here's the problem for B2B companies, B2B companies see their customers as a company. They don't look through the company and say, my gosh, in a mobile world, I don't mean a mobile world, my mobile phone, in a world in which there is no allegiance between the company and its employees anymore, employees leave constantly, I need a relationship with the end user in the company. I have to look through the company to the employees and say, my relationship is with an end user, and that's my community, and people want to interact with that community. Lan and I are working on a publicly traded company in the health benefits area. It took us a while for them to understand that they have lots of users, 33 million users, but they had to look through the companies to see the fact that there was us at the other end. Any other questions? No other questions? Seriously? I'm done? If I'm done, thank you all very, very much. I appreciate your time today.